Let me introduce you to His Excellency Ambassador Inza Camara. He's based in New York. He is the delegate for the promotion of trade and investment in Cote d'Ivoire. And we talked about relationships. I have to let you know that his president graduated both from Drexel University and the University of Pennsylvania. And we're going to try to get him here to speak at one of the commencements soon with the leadership of his ambassador. So in his own right, the Ambassador Camara is basically is Philadelphia. His children has gone to Temple University. He's been here for many, many years. He knows as many people as I do in the city government. So I want to thank him for being here. We're looking forward to departing and taking our delegation to Cote d'Ivoire very soon. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to His Excellency Ambassador Inza Camara from the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire.
Thank you, Straughter. Hello, everybody. Thank you for hosting us today. Then I want to thank you for everything you are doing for Americans and for African communities. And I would like to congratulate Mrs. Fernandez West for the resilience of ODUNDE. I've been here for many years. I used to be in the South Street, in the 10th ODUNDE. My sister, Dr. Martha, thank you for what you just said. And I am here to promote my country. So please, I would like to show you a commercial video of my country. So thank you.
Cote d'Ivoire is home to investment. Akwaba, welcome to Cote d'Ivoire, land of investment, land of hospitality, the cultural and economic crossroads of West Africa. In the south, the Atlantic Ocean, 500 kilometers of beaches, an invitation to travel and discover. The city of Abidjan and the primary tropical forest of nearby Banco National Park. Over 3,000 hectares of lush and breathtaking greenery to break from the nearby urban frenzy. Abidjan also features one of Africa's most beautiful golf courses, with good-sized bunkers arranged around a massive central lake. In the center, in Yamoussoukro, Notre Dame de la Paix, the basilica with the world's highest dome. In the east, great kingdoms with rich traditions. In the west, age-old mountains and waterfalls. In the north, the vestiges of history and the beauty of craft. In this welcoming land, citizens of the world can live, work, and prosper in peace. As West Africa's hub, Cote d'Ivoire provides the infrastructure required for competitiveness. Cote d'Ivoire is West Africa's main industrial and trade platform. It's the largest economy in the West African Economic and Monetary Union, WEMU, whose shared convertible currency, the CFA franc, is an asset in the building of an 8-member-strong regional market. Cote d'Ivoire accounts for 36% of the area's GDP, with monetary stability and low inflation. Its 9% growth rate between 2012 and 2016 is one of the world's strongest. This makes Cote d'Ivoire the best access point to ECOWAS and its 15 member states, not to forget its 320 million consumers. Cote d'Ivoire's road network is amongst the best in the region, and access to both domestic and international trade is made easier by its 2 ports in Abidjan and San Pedro, and its 7 airports, including international airports in Abidjan and Yamoussoukro. Cote d'Ivoire features a quality communications network. Its telecoms network is connected to optical fiber, making Cote d'Ivoire a land of innovation and creativity all great assets for growth. The high electrical output, over 5,000 gigawatts per hour, is interconnected to supply neighboring countries. Another major asset for industrialization and modernization. The country hosts the headquarters of several regional and international bodies, including the African Development Bank, the Regional Stock Exchange, and the International Cocoa Organization. Côte d'Ivoire is the economic powerhouse of West Africa. The local workforce is well trained. The basic and advanced education system are supported by international quality infrastructure, with classes in both English and French. Public universities, the National Polytechnic Institute in Yamoussoukro, and private universities provide a quality education. The health and sanitation system is one of the best in West Africa, with public health centers available nationwide and several private hospitals and clinics of international quality. As a land of investment, Côte d'Ivoire is full of opportunities in all sectors. President Alassane Ouattara's vision of making Côte d'Ivoire an emerging economy by 2020 is embedded in the 2016 to 2020 National Development Plan, which emphasizes the structural transformation of the economy through industrialization and the growth of services. The investment potential is estimated at around 47 billion euros. The land is rich and fertile. With about 60% of arable farmland, agriculture is an essential part of the economy, contributing 22% of GDP. Côte d'Ivoire is the world's largest grower of cocoa and cashew nuts. Its agriculture is diversified, and the government's emphasis on local transformation of raw materials opens the door to opportunities. Indeed, the National Agriculture Investment Program incentivizes local and international investors to bring about the industrial transformation of the strongest sectors. Livestock and fish farming are also growth sectors. A soil full of unexploited potential. Côte d'Ivoire's soil is rich in ores, including gold, diamonds, manganese, bauxite, copper, iron, nickel, oil, and gas. The objective is to make mining an essential growth sector, especially through the new mining code. Services growing fast. In the service sector, the revenue index reaches 7%. Banks, telecoms, construction, distribution, transportation, and health are constantly growing. Côte d'Ivoire's business environment makes it easy to invest. The country has been improving its business environment since 2013, with a focus on doing business. Structural and structuring reforms place it amongst the world's most reform-minded countries. This includes starting a business in 24 hours, better legal security for businesses, thanks to a commercial court that issues its rulings in less than 60 days. The creation of single windows for business-related procedures in CEPICI, external trade, and the building permit office. Côte d'Ivoire presents investors with a large array of incentives and facilitation measures. A competitive and attractive investment code, including fiscal and customs exemptions and the transfer of benefits. Specific investment codes for mining and oil and gas. Free trade zones, including an IT and biotechnology center called Vitium, as well as special economic zones. CEPICI, the investment promotion center that welcomes and assists investors. In addition to its economic performance, Côte d'Ivoire is also West Africa's cultural hub. In Abidjan, as in the main towns and cities, modernity, creativity, and African authenticity combine to make Côte d'Ivoire a happening and forward-moving country, where the living is fine. Akwaba, welcome to Côte d'Ivoire, land of opportunity, growth, and investment. You will feel right at home here.
So some question and answer period after the next presentations, and then we will open up for broader discussion at that time. So please give the ambassador and the video another big hand. Okay? I had an opportunity to live and work in Cote d'Ivoire for a number of years, and the video certainly doesn't do it justice, okay? But you have to get a ticket and go. The ambassador shared with us is that Ethiopian Airlines is holding a special thing until from now to September. Direct flight from JFK to Abidjan for starting as low as $800. Wow. So we can connect with the ambassador in the Ivorian Embassy in New York to get more information about it, but I just got the email and we talked about it this morning. So it's a very good opportunity to get to, and if you get to Abidjan, it's easy to get to Bamako from there. So next, without any further ado, Mahamadou, you come in here to work this morning. Sure. This is Mahamadou Traoré. He's the president of the Malian Chamber of Commerce, and I want to prepare as I get ready to transition to His Excellency the Ambassador from Mali. You know, we were talking earlier, some of the oldest Islamic manuscripts and documents are in Mali. You may have heard about the historical documents. I've had the pleasure to know about it and be engaged in one of the foundations up in New York that were attempting to gather them and to preserve them. And I talked to the ambassador earlier about the possibility of working with him to get a trade, but a traveling exhibit of those ancient manuscripts to come to Philadelphia, because I know how important they are to history in general, but particularly to the Islamic community. And for those of you who don't know, we have over 3,000 Muslims in Philadelphia and around the city. I mean, it's really become one of the largest centers of Islamic worship. How many?
What did you say, 300? 3,000 or 300,000?
300,000. 300,000. Okay, it's not like I'm going to have Sister Latifah come soon to say I won't be able to send her, but it's a large and fantastic community, and I would like to have them, Ambassador, to see some of these original documents that was preserved by the Malians going back to the 10th and 11th century that we're, as I said. So we'll look forward to that. And let me just, without any further ado, his resume is here in the program, but please let me take a moment to introduce you to His Excellency Mahamadou, the Ambassador to the United States from the Republic of Mali. Excellent Ambassador, please. The President of Mali,
at the heart of West Africa and bordered by 7 countries, with 7 accessible ports, a middle.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much to the President for ODUNDE Foundation, Stanley, and all the organizers. I'm very delighted to be here. It's my first time, so I can realize I'm the only new person here. My first time in Philadelphia too. So, what I have seen this morning with our diaspora, I will add, beside the natural resource, our diaspora, and this African diaspora is also one of the results we have, and we can share with all other countries. Thank you, my sister Marta. I visit Windhoek twice. I know the President Gingok. We paid an official visit there. Your president and my president was prime minister at the same time, and I was his diplomatic advisor for 4 years, so I accompanied him in Namibia. I'm very honored and appreciative for the opportunity to talk about business environment in Mali. But first of all, us are the ambassadors of Africa. That's what we're trying to do in Washington. Africa is one continent, but different opportunities. What Martha is talking, she's talking about not only Namibia, but also about Africa. So I'll try to talk about the business environment in Mali, and then you will see how the continent is very rich and very diversified. Mali is strategically located in the heart of West Africa, with a population around 16 million population, surrounded by 7 countries, neighboring countries. That means Bamako. In Bamako, you are 1 away from all these countries. We are landlocked, so that's why the presentation in Cote d'Ivoire is green, but you will see Mali is not the same. But we have very good connection, we are brothers. Mali is in the north of Cote d'Ivoire, and Cote d'Ivoire is the south of Mali. And we speak the same language too. Mali economy is fundamentally based on the primary sector, especially agriculture. We are one of the only countries in Africa who allocate 15% of their budget to the agriculture. The African Union requested 10%, Mali and Rwanda allocated around 15%. So that means we give more importance to our agriculture. Let me emphasize that in despite of 2012 crisis, Mali never went into economic recession. The country's growth has rebounded since 2013 and has exceeded 5% since then, making in the third economic in the West African Economic and Monetary Union zone after Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Mali the third. Despite the security situation, you may know, that is also an issue to move to the perception to the reality. Despite the security situation, Mali is well known in the world. We have Tombouctou, we are a big story, and also our population is a very hospitality. By coincidence, I met one wonderful ladies who spent time in Mali as a Peace Corps, and she speaks well my native language, so I was so impressed. She was in the corps. Thank you so much. And what makes Mali a very competitive destination? Mali, despite the security situation in the Sahel, we have a lot of opportunities. One can create a business with less than $10. Foreign and national investors have equal rights. A company can represent 100% of profit and equity. Mali has many competitive advantages. The first, now we are, the last data we have, this is 2018, when we were the first producer of cotton in Africa. Now Burkina Faso try to make us competition. The second largest herd in West Africa after Nigeria, and Mali is the 4th gold producer in Africa. There is a political will to make Mali attractive to investors. We create a ministry dedicated only for the diaspora, just how to bring a diaspora and how to use our diaspora as an African diaspora also, the same. So we can have facilitated to create and invest in Mali. That's why the government has simplified the procedures, including easing access to the construction permit authorization, adopting sound strategy to protect national as well as foreign investors, and facilitating the payment of tax and enforcing contracts in addition. The government established mechanisms to easily set up factories by creating free trade zone and industrial park. We already ratified the African Zone Trade Floor. Our priority sectors are agribusiness, and manufacturing, transportation, communication, and energy infrastructure development to link production and consumption area and open the country for the regional market. Digital economy is another priority sector. Mali has developed and implementing a comprehensive program called Mali Digital Plan 2020, with the goal of ensuring digital transformation, the standardization, information and communication technology for all countries' economic and social cultural sectors. Our goal is to increase its share from 10 to 12% of the GDP. Mali is one of the main gold producers in Africa. Our country also has vast reserve of other minerals that would like to exploit: iron, lead, copper, limestone, phosphorus, bauxite. In addition of diamond, nickel, platinum, lithium has been proven. While many multinationals are present on the ground, some more than 2 decades. Unfortunately, American investors are still missing. Maybe there is a waiting that the situation become totally secure, where I don't know in the world where there is 100% security. So to invest means also to take a risk. So when we want to make a competition with China, we don't want to see after when they occupy all the market. And we are very delighted that this new strategy for Africa, this initiative, presidential initiative, maybe can encourage the Africans and diaspora investors to come to Mali. Financial sector, banking and insurance is another competing sectors. So I think the video can show more than I can say, but it's not only green because the north of the country is desert, but have a lot of resources. And I would like also to say this is a good platform for we diplomats. Washington, we spend 9% to talk about politics. I think sometimes it's good to come here to learn more from each other and to know how's the value of our diaspora. Mali is open for business. The destination in Mali is for yours, and the embassy of Mali will be open for you and to facilitate your visa when you want to go. We will be here to provide any information. I would like to invite you to consider investment in Africa. Many US competitors have understood that Africa is no longer the future, but the present. Now it is time to invest. We do not want to be the side. Thank you very much for the ODUNDE festival, for Stanley, and for inviting us. But I don't want to make competition with my brother, Ambassador Inza, but you have to follow for a few minutes what we can show to you. And the next time, I can assure you I'll go to him and we'll prepare my video. Thank you so much.
A strategic location at the heart of West Africa and bordered by 7 countries, with 7 accessible ports. A member of 2 monetary and economic hubs, WEMU and ECOWAS. A fast-growing economy. An average annual growth rate of 5% over the past 10 years. A low inflation rate of 1.7%. Growing middle-class revenues and consumption levels. A thriving economic potential to explore. Africa's #1 cotton producer. West Africa's 2nd livestock and cereal producer. Africa's 3rd gold producer. An abundant and low-cost workforce. Over 60% of the population is under 20, an affordable minimum wage. A competitive legal and regulatory framework. A constantly improving business climate. A government fostering private investments. A very attractive investment code. A rich and authentic culture. 14 sites inscribed on the World Cultural Heritage List. Widely known artists. acclaimed worldwide. So, how easy is it to settle in Mali? You can create a company in 72 hours, rely on 2 guarantee funds, repatriate 100% of your profit, benefit from up to 30 years of tax exemption, retain 100% foreign ownership. So go and be a deal maker, be one of the pioneers, unlock the Malian potential. Mali, land of opportunity.
So let me thank you, Ambassador, again. Please give him a big hand. We are moving on very rapidly, and I want to thank the U.S. Department of State. This young lady has been here before. Last year, we did a program called Israel, Wakanda Forever, and she was one of the young leaders of the U.S. Department of State to meet with a lot of the young African diaspora here in Philadelphia at Temple University. And since that time, she's been promoted. So just tell you how quick life is, you know. She got promoted, and she's the director for West Africa at the U.S. Department of State, and helps create policy, but also in this instance, she's going to talk to us about the U.S. Department of State and its current administration and their various initiatives for Africa. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to Deniece Laurent-Mantey from the U.S. Department of State.
Thank you so much to the ODUNDE team for having me, and for Stan for having me, Your Excellency, and Dr. Martha. Thank you for such dynamic presentations. I'd like to apologize in advance. I do not have any fancy videos or lovely gifts for everyone, but I'll try my best to just share a little bit about what we're doing at the Department of State in collaboration with some of our U.S. government agencies when it comes to promoting trade in Africa and partnering with Africa on the trade and investment side. So in December of 2018, we rolled out our new Africa strategy, and I'd just like to sort of highlight very quickly some of the 3 key things that our Africa strategy focuses on. So the first thing, of course, obviously, is to advance investment and commercial ties in Africa, which is our first priority for our new U.S. Africa strategy. And the second priority is to promote, or to protect rather, U.S. health and security threats across the borders. And our third priority is to support progressive governments on the democracy and governance side. And I'd like to also highlight that, you know, we've seen Africa progress over the years, and just knowing that by 2050, Africa's population will double to about 2.2 billion. And 60% of Africa's population are the youth under age 25. And I think it's important that we cannot talk about business in Africa without talking about the youth in Africa. The youth in Africa are making dynamic strides. There really needs to be a requirement and a huge bulge to sort of create job growth on the continent in order to harness the amazing entrepreneurial skills that I think the youth in Africa, you know, definitely have. And I like to make a plea for Stan that even for next year's Business Roundtable, you have someone who is a diaspora, you know, youth entrepreneur, a part of the conversation, to also just talk about how important it is to have the youth at the table when we're discussing Africa business opportunities. And so for us, you know, youth is a major thing when we're dealing with Africa, especially on the econ side. And so I'd like to just definitely highlight that for everyone here this evening. So I'll go over 4 main initiatives that we currently rolled out when it comes to U.S. investment in Africa. Many of them are still in the development stage, and we're still giving more information about them. But you've probably heard a lot about this in the press or in the news. Different U.S. government agencies have announced it. The first one is our Prosper Africa strategy, and this is our new U.S. government strategy when it comes to doing business in Africa. It's our whole of government approach to partnering with Africa in terms of promoting U.S. investment on the continent. And we're focusing on two major things. The first thing is strengthening African partnerships. And the second thing is coordinating U.S. government capabilities when it comes to trade and investment in Africa. And so what does that mean? So with Prosper Africa, it's not a new tool, but what we're doing is we are working with 15 different U.S. government agencies coming under one umbrella to promote U.S. investment on the continent. And so that means the State Department, USAID, OPEC, MCC, and many others coming together to sort of promote U.S. investment on the continent and giving different resources and guides to different diaspora groups in the United States to promote investment on the continent. Now, this is all still in the works, and we're still rolling out new information as the day goes by, but we've announced the overall strategy since December 2018. And so with Prosper Africa, we have two things that we're looking to do. The first thing is establishing a one-stop shop regional trade and investment center that would be overseas. And so it'll be a center where you can, if you're a U.S. company, a U.S. business, you can go there to receive different resources, information about how you can, foster your business on the continent. The second thing is we are working to create what we're calling deal teams in our different U.S. embassies on the continent. The deal teams will consist of not just having the one economic commercial officer that's typically in our U.S. embassies, but it'll be a team of folks from MCC, USAID, and other different agencies coming together to, just proactively look at where U.S. companies can make the best out of their business plans and business investment opportunities. The second thing is the BUILD Act. And so the BUILD Act was signed in October 5th, 2018, and it's a new legislation which we are rolling out to reform our U.S. government development capabilities. Now, in the past, USAID has typically focused on our development piece in terms of the U.S. government, and we've had agencies like the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, OPEC, focusing on business. And so under the BUILD Act, we are creating what we're calling the International Development Finance Corporation. And so once the BUILD Act is completely rolled out, OPEC will cease to exist and it will fall under the DFC, which is the Development Finance Corporation. And with the BUILD Act, it doubles our investment capital to about $60 billion. And it combines equity from AID and OPEC together under one umbrella. Now, with the International Development Finance Corporation, we're looking at supporting U.S. private investment on the continent. And I understand with OPEC, typically, having a U.S. entity as a part of your business was one of the requirements for OPEC. Under the BUILD Act, it's going to be a little more flexible with that requirement. So that's something that's new that should be rolling out completely by the end of this year. And then, of course, we have the Millennium Challenge Corporation, where we have a number of threshold and compacts in our different countries. For Cote d'Ivoire, there's been 2 Millennium Challenge Corporation compacts to promote development on the continent. We recently signed a $500 million compact in Senegal, compact with Liberia in 2017. And now what we're looking at is having regional compacts where we're looking at having different countries like Benin, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and others come together and helping them foster inter-regional trade and investment by having these regional compacts. And so that's something new that we're looking at as well. The last thing I'll talk about, and I won't bore you any longer, is our AGOA Forum, so the African Growth and Opportunity Act. I'm sure many of you are aware of. Our AGOA Forum, which is actually being hosted in Cote d'Ivoire this year from August 4th to the 6th of this year. AGOA is pretty much the cornerstone of our U.S. economic engagement, and we definitely are happy that AGOA was extended in 2015. And so the forum will be held in Abidjan this year. And AGOA, and I would say, is an initiative where for many diaspora companies, I'd like to highlight one in particular called Alafia, which is a company owned by a Togolese American. And what they do is they focus on bringing shea butter to the country and using the woman in Lomé by producing shea butter, and I believe it's also sold in stores like Whole Foods and other places all over the country. And so that's a diaspora organization that we typically highlight, and they actually won an award a couple of years ago by the State Department for their amazing work and showing how useful GOA has been for diaspora companies and businesses. Now, looking beyond GOA, we're hoping that we can, of course, have a free trade agreement with one of our countries. It looks like we're looking at a number of different countries for that. The Secretary for Commerce, Secretary Ross, traveled recently to Kenya, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ethiopia, looking at some countries that we can possibly have a bilateral free trade agreement with in the future. And so that's something that we're looking at long term. But so I say this all in the sense that there are a number of resources and initiatives that we are looking to roll out, particularly in the next 2 to 3 years. And so if you are a diaspora business or organization, there are a lot of resources that are out there with the State Department, USAID, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Africa Business Center is something that we typically like to have U.S. companies become members of, because there are lots of resources and information that you can certainly get from the Chamber of Commerce Business Center. So thank you all so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Deniece. Thank you very much. And before I go to the question and answer period, let me introduce you to a lady who is just phenomenal in her own right. She was the founder of Echoes of Africa 25 years ago in the city of Philadelphia. She was also the founder and creator of the Mayor's Commission on African Caribbean Immigrant Affairs for the city of Philadelphia. She is the council lady for the 3rd Councilmatic District, where we have a significant population of African and Caribbean immigrants throughout the city. I have the honor of saying that she's been a friend, a leader, and some of us call her Mother Africa here. But let me ask her to come and bring greetings. The Honorable Councilwoman Janie L. Blackwell.
Thank you, the Honorable Stanley L. Straughter, for that wonderful introduction. And let me say to Bumi Fernandez, who has brought us here yet another year, to all of the panel and all of you who are here, it is indeed an honor and a pleasure to be here for another wonderful celebration. I'm happy to be here with the African Business Roundtable, happy that we've come again to celebrate another year with ODUNDE. And it would not have happened without Lois Fernandez, the mother of Bumi Fernandez. We are honored to be here with all of you, and we say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council Lady. And as she meets our guest, I'd like to ask Latifa Shakur to come, please. We're going to bring some greetings on behalf of the Senator, and also Dr. Tony Luck. Please, Dr. Luck, I want you to be here as we go to the question and answer. Take a minute and talk a little bit about the African Union Diaspora Africa Forum, so we can go to questions, and then we can eat right after that, okay? So Latifa, you have to come quickly. I also wanted to remind you that both ambassadors and Deniece have talked about the potential opportunity there. But potential is just that, it's only potential. If you don't get up and go do something about it and chase it down, whatever they tell you, if it doesn't happen, come and let me know. That's what we're here for. Let Victoria know, the president of the African Caribbean Business Council. You gotta go test it out. You ain't gonna make $1 million in Africa sitting here with me. It don't work like that. You gotta get off your duff. You gotta go over there and visit these particular countries. You gotta be a part of it. These ambassadors come here. Deniece has come here. Dr. Martha has come here to bring the message to you. Now we gotta test it out and go back and have an opportunity to check on them. So this is our opportunity to go do something. All right. Let me first of all introduce you to the Chief of Staff of Senator Sharif Street, Mr. Latifa Shakur, to bring greetings. He was with us. Some of you met him this morning and he had to go to another engagement. So I'm grateful that you would come and say hello on this evening.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Senator Street, he did get to meet our honored guest this morning and gave opening remarks, but he had to go to Harrisburg this afternoon to take care of some business. So I just wanted to thank everyone for coming on behalf of this, the Caribbean ODUNDE community. And we're looking forward to having a trade mission next year to Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. And we're going to hopefully do an advanced team trip this year, sometime this year, beginning of next year, to advance our big trip later on in 2020. So again, thank you everyone. Stan put me on the spot here. I'm not really a public speaker. So thank you again. Take care everyone.
This is Dr. Tony Luck. She's one of the founding members of the African Union Diaspora Africa Foundation, and after she talks, we're going to go to question and answer. So please give Dr. Luck a big hand.
Well, I think I'm colorful enough to be your video, and I'm cute enough to be your gift. This, you know, there's so much to say, and I only want to take a few minutes because there's so much power up here to discuss, but I will tell you what President Nkrumah said. You don't have to be born in Africa. Africa has to be born in you. We have had this discussion for at least 40 years, and thank you, and a lot of things have not moved because we are faced with 500 million people in the diaspora who, if they just sent $1 a year, Martha, to Africa, we would have $500 million that could then be put in the hands of financial people who could then turn that into billions. I just want to say something to all of us that's very important. Nobody's coming to save us. No, we are it. And with all due respect to the State Department and the IMF and the World Bank, although maybe after President Kagame talked, we may not have the IMF anymore. We are who we've been looking for. The diaspora, we fought with the AU, not fought, but worked with them to make the 6th region. We are a region of Africa. There are 5 regions, and the diaspora is the 6th region. And AU DAF, under the able leadership of Her Excellency Erica Bennett, we have been at this for 15 years, making the diaspora real to Africa. To tell Africa you have a diaspora. Now, there are 2 kinds of diaspora. There are continental diasporans, and there are ones like us who are historical diasporans. We make up almost 500 million people. Almost half of the population of Africa is outside of Africa. We can do this. So I just want to encourage you. In this year, the president of Ghana, based on the biblical narratives and the Quranic narratives, 400 years we would be strangers in a strange land. This is it. This is the 400 years. So we do know the prophets don't lie. And as a result, the president of Ghana, His Excellency Ados, has opened up Ghana to African Americans to be able to come home to Ghana. Either right of return, right of abode, and in that, the AU DAF, our organization, is building a diasporan village with upscale homes, apartments, so that you can have a piece of land in Africa. That is one of our contributions to the reality that we should be going home. So I am again so inspired by Mother Lois. We would not have known, you know, when the ODUNDE came up, and that's my last comment, us African Americans were just being white. We were just allowed to be white. You understand, we were allowed to go to Harvard and Yale. We were allowed to be in different businesses. Who wanted to take us back to Africa? We weren't trying to wear afros. We weren't trying to wear culture. No, really. Is that true? In the 70s, we were trying to be part of America. And here comes this lady talking about, you need to be part of Africa. We were like, hold it, wait a minute, baby. We just became Americans. And so the early days weren't easy for her. It wasn't just what the European American didn't like, it's what she fought with the African American. Reverend Sullivan would stand, drug us to Africa. We were like, listen, sir, we didn't leave anything in Africa. We don't know no people over there. We don't know no land over there. We are Americans. Anybody ever said, y'all don't have to lie, I'm 70, I can tell you. We were Americans. But this organization and others like that and people like Stan caused us to make Africa born in us. And I now have lived on the continent 29 years. I don't even like to visit here. I just come once a year. But this event. We have just formed a diasporan fund. It's called My Hometown Africa Legacy Fund. It is a remittance and a savings plan for you to get involved with Africa, $1 at a time. So please look out for those announcements, but imagine if we just gave Africa $1 a year. We would be fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Luck. So now for question and answer. Do you have any questions directed to the panel?